On this episode of Chasing Legends, Nash and the team head to Arizona to investigate reports of a Bigfoot-like creature said to be living on the Mogollon Rim. Deep in the forest, the crew has a strange encounter. Is the monster real or just another campfire story?
I'm Nash Hoover. Since I was young, I have been fascinated by stories of mythological creatures and dreamt of traveling the globe to find explanations for the unexplained. Together, my crew and I will investigate these cryptid legends and go beyond what we think we know. We're not just chasing monsters, we're chasing legends.
Due to the turbulence, everybody needs to be in their seats with their seatbelts fastened. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We made it.
From Arizona. Samy filming me.
No exception.
Yeah. Good.
Before departing Phoenix for Payson, we had to meet up with cryptozoologist Alex Hearn to see what he has to say about the Mogollon monster. All right, Alex, thanks for meeting us out here. Just give us a brief background on you, and I'll get into the questions.
Alex Hearn, cryptozoologist, paranormal investigator, 40 plus years, going on 45.
So we're here in Arizona looking for the Mogollon monster. What can you tell us about that?
So the Mogollon monster is basically Arizona's version of Bigfoot.
Okay.
A little bit pissed off, maybe because it has to live in an environment where it needs to kind of be more cognizant of its food source and water source and be a little more protective of that, just like any other animal in the area would be. The Mogollon Rim is this 200-mile wide, basically fault zone, and lots of stories from colonial times on up, cowboy western times on up to today, of Bigfoot type creatures screaming women in the forest, and then stories of attacks and people being led into the woods by the screaming women. But lots of attacks, usually blamed on bears, except for there hasn't really been a huge population of grizzly bears in Arizona in 100 years. But a lot of these attacks, people will make mention of an upright animal attacking them.
So you refer to it as a creature. Do you believe that it is a undiscovered species of something, or is it just a misidentified animal?
I'm thinking novel hominin, so an undiscovered, totally, missing link, if that can be used, because it's not really correct, but I think it's what people would consider, something between us and early man. Now, I've had 2 face-to-face sightings in Arizona, one
Really?
just below the rim, one on the rim. Each time the creature looked completely different.
Huh.
So totally different, and both were 20 feet face-to-face. Pretty unique, never felt threatened, but both of them, I felt like the creature was communicating with me just with body language.
Interesting.
Yeah, whether you want to call it telepathically or what, I kind of read its body language both times.
Interesting. So we are wanting to put ourselves in the shoes of yourself and other people that have had sightings. Where would you suggest that we should go to look for this creature?
So the Mogollon Rim, definitely.
Okay.
All across the Mogollon Rim, in between Bear Canyon Lake and Knoll Lake, there's a hot spot known as Broken Mirror Camp. Below the rim, but right on the Highway 260, is the Tonto Fish Hatchery, which was formerly the Boy Scouts of America Camp Geronimo, which has had some incidents.
So you say that this is kind of a dangerous animal. What other dangerous animals that are known to be up there should we be watching out for?
We have a really huge population of bear along the rim. Don't have a lot of bear attacks, but in years where there's been less rain during the summer, more of a drought kind of summer, tends to be when you have a lot of attacks. And as I mentioned, today was kind of the first rain that we've gotten in months.
So we should be safe?
So yeah, you should be safe, you know, as long as you consider yourself bait, you know. And there's some reptiles too, so you'll have, you know, your jackalope. Do you know what the jackalope is?
I don't think that's a reptile though.
No, it's not really a reptile, but that one's been known to chase tourists, specifically cameramen, and attack.
Oh God, you owned them at my own joke. Well, cool. Thanks for the insight and thanks for meeting us out here.
Excellent.
It's been a pleasure.
All right, super.
Dude. Driving into this, like I'm 100%, like I believe something could live out here undetected.
I mean, this is unreal. We're just maybe 10 minutes outside of Payson itself, and we still have a long way to go until we're actually on the rim itself. And pretty much any direction.
Yeah, like that's the rim right there.
See the rim right there. We have pine forest. I mean, I could go up 15 feet up in those woods right there and disappear.
Yeah,
And
this
we're right
is
on the highway.
nuts.
You can see the rim right in front of us right now, actually.
Jesus.
So this is not the kind of environment you think of when you think of Arizona.
No.
This is the kind of environment you think of for something like a Bigfoot. And this is the area that Alex was saying there's plenty of other large mammals, mountain lions, bobcats, lots of other stuff.
Absolutely.
So you can see why it's a perfect
Oh yeah,
environment.
it's a perfect habitat. It's got everything you need. You know, there's a lot of lakes and rivers and stuff up here. It's completely dense and forested. You know, you can just go get away from everything.
You have a lot more rainfall. I mean, just when we came into Phoenix,
Well, yeah. I mean, look at the clouds. I mean, it's obviously going to rain at some point today. Like,
temperature-wise, I mean, it's a lot cooler up here too. We're at a higher elevation. They get a lot of snow up here in the winter. Well, going into this, what did you think in terms of what the Mogollon monster could be? I know you had sort of a theory, but what was your thought process going into it?
honestly, I thought, looking at a lot of the reports, that it could be like misidentified bear.
Right.
You misidentified something. But just talking to Alex and kind of hearing what he had to say, you know, obviously being up here, and now us being up here ourselves, seeing the environment, seeing that there is ample room for something like a, you know, bipedal hominid to live and be completely off the grid and you know, undiscovered. It's completely changed my mind on this case, you know, as a whole.
Yeah, a lot of deteriorated elk tracks.
Yeah. We're just kind of walking around. Kind of a daytime investigation, I guess. We're gonna do several different areas on the rim here today. Kind of to narrow down like a proper space to do a night investigation. We're all just kind of looking on the ground for any sort of physical remains, whether it be known animal or unknown, footprints, hair, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just a better way to kind of map out the area before we're out here in the dark.
Right.
Oh yeah, look at all the elk. Yeah, all degraded.
Yeah, it's a lot of elk.
Yeah.
I'm sure since it's still like wide open here, I'm sure it's a pretty migrated pattern for, you know, space.
I mean, this is perfect feeding ground because
Yeah.
there's just so much.
It's just so much low brush.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Also, like I said earlier, like, you know, with the Sasquatch stuff, whether it's, you know, carnivore or vegetarian, that's plenty of food source for either scenario.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a perfect area for elk to feed deer as well. I mean, we're seeing lots of elk and deer scat tracks, jaw bones, all kinds of stuff. This looks like a GoPro.
Yeah. I think tonight
I think once we get out like in the middle of, pretty out far, I think we should do a lot of like sit and listen stuff. Just kind of sitting quietly, lights off.
I think that'll be good because we got the walkies, right?
Yeah.
So we'll do 2 groups, one with a floor each, and then 2. Everyone's got audio devices, recording devices.
For how big of an area this is, we would have to split up just to cover so much. I mean, we're covering a lot of ground during the day, but yeah, at night, things are going to be different.
Is he going out with the boom tonight? Okay.
Yeah, and that's going to be a huge help too, because we're going to have that higher sensitive.
If we get any audio or anything,
yeah. Well, and also.
And that's and that's almost what we're going to be What I want to do these sit and listen sessions is for him. I don't know though. This is going to be tough. It's still so packed.
Mm-hmm.
some pretty new, fresh tracks, and that looks very much like an elk. As you can see right there. Got 2. Let's measure them. This one is about 4 inches long, 10 centimeters. This one is just under 4. And if you come over here, you got a slide. That's really cool. That just shows maybe he's a run-in or went through the area, but pretty neat, huh? Really deep one right here. Got 4.
Over here is gonna be good stuff.
Oh yeah, this is nice and soft.
Almost looks like stuff, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I know.
Did you see the tree snap?
Hmm?
I just heard something snap.
Did you? Over there?
Oh.
Ooh. Look at that.
Kayla.
What?
Show the camera.
Oh, there's more. Holy shit.
That's a thick boy. Jesus.
Yeah, that's...
That's a big one.
It's like bigger than a human femur. It's a vertebrae.
That's wild. Looks almost like a hip bone, maybe? Of some kind?
It's definitely broken.
Or a shoulder blade, maybe?
It kind of looks like a shoulder more than anything.
This is.
But that's like the biggest leg bone I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's a monster leg bone. There's another leg bone.
They're like, someone just like destroyed the spine of this animal.
Yeah, there's like pieces everywhere.
It's like,
What could it be?
look how cool this is.
Animal trail of some kind.
Yeah.
See it?
Where at? Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got an animal trail, Michaela. Animal trail. Oh, look at that. It's kind of steep.
Yeah. Just keep going.
Should we all make it out that way then and we can start making
Yeah, we probably head back. I think we found some good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously nothing Mogollon monster related, but at least, we found some
Again,
evidence
all
of
I wanna
wildlife.
say about it, I'm like,
Get in there, B-Ray.
Yeah.
Help him out. Help him.
There you go. Keep going back. Keep going back.
There.
Woo!
Before conducting our night investigation, we had to meet up with researchers Kevin Keeney and Chuck Jacobs to hear about their research on the Mogollon Rim.
My name is Chuck Jacobs. I live in Payson, Arizona, and have for the last 50 years. And I'm a retired firefighter. Did that for over 40 years in one facet or another. And now as a kind of as a hobby in my retirement years, I go look for Sasquatch.
So how long have you been a BFRO member?
I became a BFRO member and investigator in 2013.
Okay.
And I'm currently one of 2 active investigators in the state of Arizona. We're both volunteers.
Me too.
And so my area basically encompasses the eastern half of the state. So it's a very, very large district. I've investigated stuff as far south as the Mexican border and as far north as the North Rim of the Grand Canyon.
So we're here investigating the Mogollon Monster. What do you know about that?
The Mogollon Monster is kind of that's the local variation of Bigfoot. And where that came from is back in 1944 or 45, accounts vary. There was a group of Boy Scouts that was terrorized by a tall, hair-covered, foul-smelling creature in an area near present-day Coles Ranch.
Okay.
And when they went to bed for the night, the thing came into their camp and roared and screamed and scared them all to death and ate their food. But it left and didn't hurt anybody. And so as soon as it was light the next morning, they packed up and got out of there. And when they told their story to the locals, they needed to come up with a name for it. And although by all the behavior and definition, it was most likely a Sasquatch, the people had never heard of that term, and the term Bigfoot hadn't been invented yet.
Right.
So that wasn't invented until 1958, and so they needed a name for it. And because it was a fearsome thing and it scared them all, they called it the Mogollon Monster.
My name is Kevin Keeney. My background, I've spent a vast majority of my life in the outdoors. Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts, and just a vast amount of time doing a lot of solo backpacking. Military, I was in the Army for a little over 5 years till I was injured in Operation Desert Storm.
So we're here looking for the Mogollon Monster.
Correct.
What can you tell us about it from your research-wise?
They're absolutely real. Growing up, and especially as much time as I've spent in the outdoors, I've always heard the stories of the Mogollon Monsters, especially in the Boy Scouts. And the Boy Scouts have a camp probably about 25 miles from here at the base of the rim called Camp Geronimo. And of course the stories are rampant through there, and so we grow up hearing these stories. And as a Boy Scout, we were hiking on the Mogollon Rim, or at the bottom of the Mogollon Rim on what's called the Highline Trail. And we had an episode happen that, we were out for one night that, I could never say was, a Sasquatch or the Mogollon Monster. And as a kid, that's what we thought it was Mogollon Monster, and never connected it to a Sasquatch. And we thought we were going to be, ripped apart and eaten, and it was a horrifying incident. And so I had that when I was about 13 years old, back in the early 80s. So I knew there's something up here. I've always believed that they were real. As a child, you see the Patterson-Gimlin film, and I look at that, and okay, that's real. And don't think anything else of it. Then the TV series Finding Bigfoot came out, and they did an episode here in this area, and they did their town hall meeting down in Payson, and I went, yep, okay, yeah, they're definitely here. And we spent a lot of time camping, and one of the family outings we were up here, my son and I, not knowing what we're doing, we go out and just repeating what we saw on TV, and we got some wood knocks and had a whistle, and there was a lot more to this weekend, but that was the gist of it. And that caused me to file a report with the BFRO, and I met with the investigator, which is Chuck, and we spent 3 nights up here, and my life got turned upside down.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to the middle of the forest on the Mogollon Rim. We are joined by Eli Watson from Cryptid Campfire, who also happens to be one of our Kickstarter executive producers. Decided to come out and join us in the wilderness. So we have a pretty good investigation ahead of us. A hell of a lot of ground to cover. So I think the best plan of attack would probably be to split up. So I will lead a search team with Michaela, Samy, Jack, and Eli, and then Alex, why don't you take Brian, and you guys can kind of, I feel like we were kind of told that it doesn't like a lot of people, so maybe you guys might have a little bit better results.
Yeah, I think we're going to hang around the fire for a little bit, kind of let that die down, scan. We have a ridge right behind us where earlier we tried an experiment where Eli and I actually hit up on the ridge. As you guys walked by in broad daylight, you guys didn't see us at all. So I'm thinking that's a good place to scan with the FLIR. We'll hang out here for a bit, and then we're going to move out when the fire dies down a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because we were told that it's intrigued by campfires and camps. So we have trail cameras set up, different directions from camp. Hopefully maybe we'll catch something there.
We've been making a lot of noise now too. So we saw that huge herd of elk earlier, which was right off in our direction. So wouldn't be surprised to see something like elk tonight. So keep your eyes peeled, guys.
Yeah. There's an animal trail that Michaela and I discovered over that way. So we're going to follow that up into the ridge a bit and see if it will take us down somewhere. So, all right, guys, let's get to work.
Go. All right, so we're here by the fire, Brian and myself. The rest of the crew, you can't see it, but they're just out of sight now. Basically, right now, we are set up in a dried out creek bed. We found elk bones here earlier in the day. We saw a big herd of elk. We found plenty of fresh tracks, just maybe 20 yards from us right here. So we're just hanging out here hoping that something may come in. I'm going to start scanning with the FLIR pretty soon. We'll kind of just see what happens throughout the night. I mean, they're going to be going off in that direction. We might go in that direction, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
God, these trees are so dense. Jack, you got that boom going?
Yeah.
All right, just let me know if you hear anything that we should be aware of. Man, if I was a Mogollon monster, this is where I'd want to live. So what do you think about all this, Kayla?
It's just a lot of ground to cover. I remember one of the men we interviewed yesterday saying that a road wasn't really paved out here until the 60s.
Yeah, so it seems like a lot of the stories just kind of got lost in time.
A lot of wildlife.
A lot of it was isolated.
Yeah.
God, this elevation is nuts. I wish I could get an elevation on here. So we're at 7,674 feet. That's insane.
You hear that?
No, what?
I don't know, dude. I'm getting movement. I'm hearing sticks snapping.
Okay.
Here, let's try this. Let's walk a little bit over here.
Okay. Let's try to just be quiet.
This is the ridge where I feel like something would be watching down because we're set up in a little bit of a valley area, right in the dry riverbed. I'm not seeing anything.
God, it's like so quiet. Absolutely.
It's just silent. There's like nothing. I want to go deeper.
Yeah, I want to know where this riverbed goes. Because how far down did you and Alex go today, Eli?
We went to about that tree right here, the closest one right here.
And then you went up?
Yep. So I say we go a little bit further down.
Alex said if anything's going to come at us, it's going to be from up there.
Should we try to get up on the ridge?
Yeah, we're going to just kind of follow this a bit.
Yeah, I would say keep going down because I think we're still a little too close to them. If anything's going to come at them, we don't want to scare it off, you know?
What do you guys think? Go up?
Sure.
Get out of this riverbed into their house. All right. Got a lot of elevation. Whew. Yeah. Just a little behind the scenes.
Don't film this.
It's true.
You're not supposed to say this.
We look unprofessional. There's just like no soft soil.
Mm-mm.
It's like, just with that, like something easily could go out here undetected because it doesn't leave tracks. There's no way it can. Stop, stop, stop. No. There's something out there. I'm seeing a red light. Do you see it? Right to those trees. You see it?
Yeah, I do. Oh, yeah.
What is it?
It's moving towards us.
What is that?
There are like two of them.
Could it be a light from one of the cameras?
That's not them. There's no way they already beat us. There's no way that they're that far ahead of us. I don't think so. We're pretty out.
Did you guys lose it too?
Yeah, it disappeared. I thought I had. Oh, there it is again.
I still see it.
It's coming towards us.
I see. Oh, I got something. Is it them?
Is it them? Something reflective too.
I got a heat signature. There's something out there that's more than just the light. Something comes up alongside of us. Dude, what the hell? You still seeing it?
Yeah. It's fainter.
You can see it?
It's right there. It's like mixed with an orange.
Whatever it is looks like it's moving, like fire.
Oh, that is fire.
Yeah.
Well, what's
if
the?
you look at it on.
That's fire. Okay,
like,
that's
look at it
fire.
on my screen, like it's moving like a fire.
Okay, I can see the fire now.
But
But what the
that
hell was the
red.
red thing that was like floating around? Are we back at the campfire? We are. That's them.
Are you fucking serious?
Yes. Look at. We just made a complete fucking circle, and we're looking at them. How the hell did we do that?
What was the red though? Is that when they're...
It's their cameras.
Oh.
So if we would go down this way, remember I said it looked like it flattened out? Because that's the riverbed. How the hell are we... Because we came from over there.
We came up this way, and then we turned this way.
I mean, yeah, I guess we just kind of gradually...
So we're going that way.
Same direction.
So, what are you hearing out there, man?
I heard it wasn't a branch or anything. It was more like someone or something kind of moving toward, like moving through bush, like brush, kind of, you know, putting their that. But it was coming from the same spot where we heard kind of twigs breaking or a big branch.
Yeah, and that's the ridge up there, right?
Yeah, that's the ridge.
It's right above us, basically.
So I think maybe whatever time we have left, we might have to go up there and just kind of check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's three sounds.
Alright, well, this is the thing. I want to just keep it up there. I want maybe when they start heading back, see if anything moves.
Okay. Did you hear that too?
We just heard a wood knock coming from this direction. I'm going to flare over there. We just heard something snap up there, and we heard a knock coming from the other direction.
It was over here, then back there, and now over there. My heart is beating.
Me too. This is what happens when they're near. I've heard it before. So far we heard a knock pretty much right across the way, right?
So, the first sounds were coming from over there. Then, we're hearing things.
We heard a pretty clear knock. Right?
Pretty clear knock over there. But then I heard, like, rumbling and...
They're up on the ridge right now.
Right.
Cut this off.
The knock was very clear.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to ask them if they did a knock. But they're not close.
Do you think we should go dark and silent for a little bit?
What's that?
Should we go dark and silent for a little bit?
Yeah, we can do that. Let's go darker. Jack, do your thing.
I just got a tree branch. Another one.
So I heard a bunch. There's about 3 or 4. Something's breaking branches over there. There's something.
I heard the one.
Did you hear a pop? I thought you did like a weird pop sound with your mouth, or you cracked your toes.
Oh, my knee cracked.
Okay, great.
But
Stand still.
There were. I have to rotate. There were 2 or 3 tree branches over there, and then I couldn't tell if it was one of you guys, but there was like kind of a weird like grunt. I think it was one of you.
Here again.
There's shit breaking branches right over
Down that way now?
I heard it that way.
Everybody's getting surrounded.
I could have sworn right down that road
You're still hearing stuff.
Because the first 2 were that way, and then I had one more over there.
Something's fucking with me.
Oh, lights off.
You want lights off? Lights off, lights off.
Did you just see something? I thought you pointed at something.
No, it's just I heard more sounds.
We're hearing something. You want to go down there further? I think so. What are you hearing? I was hearing just a bunch of tree branches. When we kind of started to listen, I think there was a little bit of rustling, but it might have just been the crew. But we're definitely getting a lot of snaps and pops down the ravine. We're gonna go check it out.
Kind of flattens out down here.
What?
Kind of flattens out down there. It's like we're in some kind of a little canyon or some kind.
We're gonna go meet up with the rest of the group.
Yeah, let's go reconvene with Alex and Brian and go from there.
You're late.
That way. Hey.
We saw you guys up there, but I'm telling you, man, Brian, what do you think? Come over here, because I want him to talk about. So what happened, man?
Well, I've never noticed it. I've never actually experienced a knock until tonight, and wow.
Just a loud hollow sound.
Yeah, like literally something just like took a rock and.
Oh, it wouldn't have been us.
Yeah, it's
And you guys didn't do a knock.
No.
Right.
Well,
we could hear. We
That
couldn't
was
hear
intense.
you, but we could see you when that happened, and that came from up in that direction, like
Literally.
right up there. And it was like a single, crisp, classic knock.
Well,
I've heard it plenty of times.
Once we realized that we were coming back towards camp, we went completely that direction. Well, we started getting, like, it was like from this direction, that direction, like twig snapping.
Right. Anything
You
on
know,
the floor?
and no, nothing. And so we would, go deeper in, and there would be nothing. So we'd kind of stop for a little bit, and then we'd hear more. So we'd go deeper, and then we'd hear more. Like,
Right.
yeah, that's something was out there.
I don't know if you guys want to do it, but we could all just hunker down and just lights off and just completely silent, just do
I'm down.
cameras.
Yeah, especially since we'll have him out here.
Are you hearing that?
Well, it was a pretty eventful night. Had a lot of noises. Obviously, we didn't see anything, but definitely a lot moving around out there. But I think that we gave it the best effort we could, and I don't know if we can necessarily close the book on the Mogollon monster itself, but you know, just because we didn't have any encounters doesn't mean that there's nothing out here. It's definitely a perfect habitat for something.
It's a little bit of a teaser.
Yeah.
I mean, I think our approach was, you know, having you guys move off, and Brian and I heard what clearly sounded like a knock. And in my opinion, I mean, I think that was very probable activity from the right as you guys moved across under the ridge. That's when it happened, and we've heard some subsequent sounds, but nothing as definitive as that. We've heard elk bugles. We're hearing other stuff. So there's obviously plenty of animals in this area. And what that knock was, we'll check the audio afterwards and hopefully be able to tell maybe a little bit better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's everyone think?
Well, for my first knock, that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think when you first heard that?
I was like, well, what else could be making that sound? What could pick something up and just throw something at a tree?
Right.
That's my thought.
Anybody else? Final thoughts, Eli?
I mean, I thought we were definitely on the track of something. Nash and Michaela and everyone else, you know, just, I mean, we were going deep, and just the fact that we kept hearing more and more trees snap and stuff like that was definitely interesting for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just hope with what we did out here, I hope it prompts some more research and investigating from other people, and you know, maybe someday some better evidence can come forward.
There's a lot of evidence of animal life, clearly with all the elk, and I think that, you know, a lot of people we've interviewed and talked to, you know, they're like, you know, the branch snaps and stuff like that. This is such a heavily populated area by even just common animals that we have to spend so much more time being so much more in depth
Sifting
with this.
through the
Sifting
mess
through
of
the
everything.
haves and the have-nots, I guess.
Yeah, good job all around though, nice. That's seriously, good job.
Yeah.
All right, let's back
Let's drown this bad boy.
Excellent.